My name is Dean Contover, and we're at the Chelmsford School Library. And we have Valerie Diggs, who is the head of the library department, and we're here for a special event, and she's going to explain it to us.
Thank you, Dean, and thank you for having me here. We are actually this afternoon from 3 to 6 having a grand opening of our new space. Previously we called it the Chelmsford High School Library. We're now calling it the Chelmsford High School Learning Commons. The facility is built so that we have students here not only gathering information, finding information, but producing and creating their own information. We've designed the space so that it is conducive for classrooms, for individual work, as well as group work, small groups. We've also tried to make it welcoming for students. We have a cafe area, we have booths for them to sit in, and the concept here is that this is a space where everyone can come, work, feel safe, and find what they need. So thank you.
When you say cafe, does that mean they can eat in the library?
Well, people have asked me that many times. On a daily basis, no. But we do have special occasions, such as our once-a-week coffees, where students and staff come and meet together before school for coffee and pastries. And so, yes, we do. And then once a month, we hold what we call listening lunch programs, where the students do come and bring their lunches, and they may eat their lunches anywhere in the library. And during those all three lunch blocks, we have entertainment. We have students perform, we have open mic, we have poetry slams, we might have the jazz band performing one month, we may have the choral group another month. And so, yes, during those Fridays, once a month, the students do come and have their lunch with us.
Do students today read books?
Do students read books? Yes, they do. They do read books, absolutely. And you know, we can't forget with all the electronic resources that we have, that we do have books. We have about 25,000 books on our shelves as we speak today. And I find that if you buy the right books for students, they will come and they will check them out. We're very in tune to the popular young adult fiction. We do order that from Barnes & Noble. In fact, our coffees on Wednesday mornings provide some of the funding for that as well.
Oh, I see.
And we also do e-books online so that students, when they're doing research, can read their books right online, which is a huge change, and they actually enjoy that.
How many people can you hold in this particular library at one time? Is there one class, 3 classes, 5 classes?
We can accommodate up to 6 classes comfortably here in the library. Yes, we have separated the space with shelves and in the different areas so that if we had 6 classes here, they easily fit without disturbing each other. We also have separate student group workrooms, 3 of those. We have 2 teacher rooms as well for teachers and groups who want to sit down and talk, plan collaboratively, have team planning meetings, that type of thing.
This seems more of a lounge type of thing in college. Is this concept changed now? Is this how it's going to be in the future?
Yes, there are many academic institutions who have created learning commons spaces, and I think what you're seeing now is that concept, that pedagogy and theory, trickling down now into high school libraries. Absolutely. We're creating spaces where students want to feel welcome. And you think of the popularity of bookstores like Barnes & Noble and Borders, who mix coffee and comfortable atmosphere with books and learning, and this is what we're doing in high schools. I mean, the students here at Chelmsford High School, they were, even just today, because of this event, they couldn't come in after school. They couldn't. We had them in the school wondering why they couldn't come in, because they're so used to having this be an open and welcoming space. And yeah, the concept of the Learning Commons is definitely, trickling down from the academic institutions down into high school libraries.
The other questions you have, speakers that are coming from out of state. Can you explain why they're here and what they're going to speak about?
Yes, I can explain that. The concept of a learning commons in a high school library is very new. I think in the state of Massachusetts, in a public school, this is probably one of the first in Massachusetts, if not in New England. And we have Dr. Ross Todd here with us from Rutgers University, who is the director of CISL, which is a research think tank for school libraries. And he's very interested in this concept. He has written and spoken about learning commons in schools and how they increase student achievement and academic achievement. And we also have Dr. David Lurcher with us, who has recently written a brand new book about learning commons in high schools. And he's here with us from San Jose State University in California. We also have Dr. Carol Gordon from Rutgers. Connie Champlain is here, who's a specialist in school libraries and research and has co-authored many books. So that's why they're here to see this event.
Are you going to show us around very quickly?
Absolutely, we'll do so. We'll take a quick tour. Well, what you see behind us, this is actually a team board, which is an interactive team board. Students, teachers come in and use this. You can write on it, transfer text, written text into word processing. There are all kinds of tricks with it. Today we're using it just as a projection screen for our slideshow, but this is one area where it's very busy during our week, and teachers sign up many weeks in advance. And behind that, you see student group workrooms. So there's one there, one behind me, and another one. Students who are working on group projects come up and use the space to sit, to create, to go online, to print, to create their posters or their PowerPoint presentations or their podcasts or whatever it is they have. This section of the library holds 38 desktop computers for students to use. It's very heavily used by classrooms, teachers coming up, bringing their students. If I start students out in a presentation area and they need to finish up in the computer area, we book this as well. I think one of the things I'd like to say is that we also, in addition to the 38 desktops, just recently won a grant for 29 laptops. So we will be having wireless in the library, and we're going to be bringing technology to the rest of the library. I like the fact that we have this many stationary computers, but I also believe that students need to move around with technology and be able to sit at a booth or a counter, a cafe table, one of our other library tables, with a computer online and a book on the table next to them. I think that is the ideal, and that's what we're working towards. We'll be putting that into motion fully in January when we get our wireless router in. But yes, that's what we're doing.
If I was homesick as a student from Chelmsford High School, may I have access to the library?
Absolutely. We're a 24/7 facility. Obviously, the books that sit on the shelves can't go home with you, but we have quite a few resources online for students. We have all of our subscription databases. Our library's catalog is online, so if a student wants to know, do we have a certain book, they can look at that from home as well.
What about a Chelmsford resident?
Oh, absolutely. Chelmsford residents have full access to this library and may come in and check out a book anytime they want. Absolutely. And they also can use our resources. They just need to simply ask for the passwords.
What about getting online? Would they need a PIN number or to get?
The subscription databases, yes, do need a username and a password, but I cannot obviously put those online. But we distribute those to our students for home use. Absolutely. Yep. And online we also have something we call Pathfinders, and those we create for all of the classroom projects, the Russian Revolution, World War II, whatever the students might be working on, so that they have access to certain websites we think are most useful, as well as the databases that correspond to those projects. This is our main information desk. Students come here to ask questions, which is why we have Ask on the soffit. They can check out a book here, they can have a password reset. It's sort of the central hub of the library. Behind us, we have the cafe area where we have students, we have booths, high top tables, and a countertop all the way around the back of this V-wall. So I actually sit here when I'm out on the library floor as well as one of my library assistants. This is the latest and the newest addition to the library. It was the last finishing piece, and this is what we call our digital kiosk, or our sort of an information center, really, where we can showcase student work, whether it's a QuickTime video, a PowerPoint presentation, and some slideshows that teachers have done. We also have, there's also an information screen so that during the school day we can put school news. We have RSS feeds from online with CNN scrolling across the bottom. We can put today at CHS, today in the library, what's happening, all kinds of things. So this is really a way of communicating what students are doing. We've had students who have gone around the world on trips, and this would be a wonderful place to show those pictures of student trips, field trips, all of those kinds of things. So yes, this is what this is, and we're very pleased to have this. This is a key, and students have been really receptive. It's only been here since Monday, but we've had a lot of interest in this. Today it's running more slideshows than I would ordinarily run. During the school day, it'll do things like what's happening at Chelmsford High School, what teams are playing tonight, what sporting events are going on, any news, if there's breaking news that students should know about. We have a cable feed into this as well as an online feed. So
They show the Chelmsford High football games.
absolutely. This is our alumni office corner. Actually, the Alumni Association, spearheaded by George Simonian, who is principal emeritus here at CHS. Was principal here from 1972 to 1988. And it was his idea, along with a committee formed through the Alumni Association, to place plaques here depicting the book covers of books published by our CHS alumni. And so this has been a great thing. I think it sparks creativity. Students come in here all the time and look and say, well, if another CHS graduate can do this, I can do it too. We are beginning on a series of authors talks from authors that have written and are on the walls. We have a case of books here that displays the books written, as well as the Alumni Association has been kind to give us every book to put in our collection for students to check out as well. So any book you see here that is a plaque exists in the case as well as on our shelves.
How many authors do you know offhand?
I don't. I think it's well over 100, but I'm not. The exact count, I don't know. I'm sorry. They are in our database, though, so if you search for alumni authors, they all come up.
Great. I thank you very much, and good luck with... Thank you. And Paul Cohen, Town Manager, Chelmsford, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Well, I was invited. I was invited. It's quite an accomplishment for the community. The only role that I had is, I was involved in the capital planning process in order to provide the funding for the project, and then working with our facilities department, headed by Gary Persichetti, we were able to make this project become a reality.
Speaking of funding, you think that if it was today, you wouldn't get the funding for it?
No, we still would have to do it. This needed to be done. Anybody who was in this facility, a couple of years ago and saw the condition, we needed to do something. And so we're really glad that we were able to step up to the plate and get this thing done. And this has exceeded my expectations, and I'm sure many others. Someone
told me that this is the first high school in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that this is being done in. Valerie said that to me.
Yeah, I think in terms of a renovation of an existing facility, yeah, I don't doubt that that's the case.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Don Yeoman, Superintendent, Chelmsford High School. Second year.
Second year.
How do you like living in Chelmsford?
I love it. What a beautiful town we have.
Yeah, except for the override, but we could talk about that later.
Life happens.
Yeah, it does. It does. What do you think of the Chelmsford school system compared to other school systems that you've known?
Well, the scores here are some of the highest in the country, so I think this is one of the finest in the country.
I'm glad you said that. I have a daughter in the third grade at the Harrington School. So I'm looking forward to come to Chelmsford High School.
She's going to love it here. She's going to love it here. What a wonderful staff. And isn't this a nice addition to the instructional program?
It sure is. It sure is. And what plans do you have for the future? Any ideas of what we're going to have in the next 5 years? Do we have a 5-year plan?
We have a 5-year capital projects fund plan. I don't know if you know this or not, but we've replaced most of the boilers with sequential boilers. We're replacing the roofs over time. and we're just doing all the infrastructure kinds of work. And so that's the kind of work we've been planning over the next 5 years.
A lot of people are concerned these days about security in the schools. Can you guarantee that? Well, you can't really guarantee that, but you can say that children are secure.
Well, they're more secure than they used to be, that's for sure. And in fact, this week, a new security system is going into effect in this building. And so soon all the doors will be locked all through the day.
Can you talk about it specifically? Or?
No, I cannot.
You cannot talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we'll go to another event. What about the middle schools? Security at the middle schools?
Yeah, they're all locked up tight, and the elementaries are too.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. I know that these days that things that people are concerned. So, anything happening to the elementary schools? You're not going to close or anything like that in the near future or anything? Or?
Well, we had to close one last year, and I was so sad. And we moved community education over there because they can pay for the lights and the heat. They're fundraising, and so. But we're sorry that school closed, and we hope in a few years we'll be able to reopen it.
Okay, I would like to thank you for talking to us because we don't have that much time.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valerie Diggs. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the department head. I am the department head of libraries and the high school library media specialist for Chelmsford, and I want to welcome everyone to this wonderful celebration and to our grand opening event. A farmer in the movie A Field of Dreams said, "Build it and he will come." I say, build it and they will come. And you have. The new Learning Commons we have created welcomes students, teachers, staff members, and members of our community. The new space has created an environment where our students are working creatively and productively while acquiring the 21st century skills necessary to achieve success both in school and in life. This project for me was the opportunity of a career. To that end, I have many people to thank. Paul Cohen, our town manager, for taking the time to visit, talk with me, and see this facility as it once was, and for understanding the need to update and renovate this space. Our town meeting representatives for approving this project at town meeting in April. The Chelmsford Public School administrators who had the wisdom and foresight to include this project in the capital budget requests for this fiscal year. Gary Persichetti, our buildings and grounds manager. Gary, where are you? Yay. For working tirelessly to make this project a success. And might I also say, for making me stick to my budget. As well as our head custodian, Louis Gissetto, who has never said no to any of my requests. And I hope you know that this is not in any order. Al Thomas, principal of CHS, for giving me the freedom to follow my dreams in the recreation of this space. Al, thank you. The Library Renovation Committee, the names are on your brochure, included students, parents, CHS administrators, and teachers for endless meetings and discussions about what they really wanted to see in a newly renovated Learning Commons. My friend and fellow teacher, Cynthia Sandholm, who as a former interior designer worked diligently alongside me to choose colors, fabrics, and much more. Cynthia? Our consultants, Dr. Carolyn Markison and Rolf Erickson, who helped design the space and its function, all based on my program and vision for what a facility like this should actually be. To Gail Rhines and Carol Pilot, who came to my rescue and helped in the planning of this event. My fellow teachers, who without their support, I could never, ever do the job I'm doing today. And I truly mean that. And I know that all of you who have looked around and walked around the library today have seen the beautiful artwork on display and some of the student work that's on display on our digital kiosk. And that's a true testament to how great the teachers are here at Chelmsford High School. And lastly, no, to my staff, I can't forget my staff, both here at the high school and district-wide. They really are the pillars of this program. And lastly, to my family, who spent many a night here helping shelve books and reassemble this space all through the month of August. And actually, my daughter Marina worked very hard in shelving books, and my husband Glenn is here, and other members of my family. So thank you very much. Okay, and I would now like to introduce our first speaker of the evening, the principal of Chelmsford High School, Mr. Alan Thomas.
On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of Chelmsford High School, I'm pleased to welcome you to our school and to this newly renovated library. Now, as I was sitting there, I'm not pleased, I'm thrilled that you're here. Sometimes when you write things, it's like an understatement. I'm glad that you're here, and thanks for making a special effort to be here at this very busy time of the year. While most of you are here to celebrate the physical renovation of this facility, I would like to suggest to you that we should really go a step further and celebrate the transformation of our library into a true academic, cultural, and social center. Due to the efforts of Valerie Diggs and her library staff, and with the support of many of the people, many that you just heard of a few minutes ago, our library has become the heart of this educational institution. Long before the renovation, our library staff created a welcoming atmosphere and provided excellent support for student research. Scheduling time in the library became very important because so many teachers and students wanted to be here to work. Long before the renovation, our library staff created cultural experiences for our students. The best known example is the listening lunch on some Fridays. Students come here and sing, play, read, and perform. There have also been poetry readings involving both faculty and students. And we've started to have alumni authors come to talk with our students. These are all valuable, enriching experiences. Before the renovation, our library staff used their creativity to create the Java Room, a breakfast shop open to students and faculty on Wednesday mornings. It's allowed staff to raise some funds, but it has also provided a wonderful opportunity for members of all parts of our community to relax and interact. The renovation of this facility not only provides a more attractive setting, but has improved our ability to better service our entire population. Access to technology has been expanded, and plans will allow for continued growth in the future. There are areas for group work, recreational reading, and quiet study. The faculty now uses this area for professional development sessions because the renovation included plans to facilitate that type of activity. The young people of Chelmsford are wonderful. They deserve a quality education. While the town faces severe financial challenges, we have added a 1,000-seat performing arts center. We've rebuilt all of our science facilities. We've improved our security. We have fixed the roof and repaired our heat and ventilation system, and now we have a vastly improved library, so that it is a quality learning center. Thanks to Valerie Diggs and our library staff, and to everyone else who has made it happen, especially the citizens of Chelmsford and the officials, for helping us to continue to be a great public high school. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Al. Our next speaker is Mr. George Simonian, principal of CHS from 1972 to 1988, and currently serves as the executive director of the CHS Alumni Association. George? Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a real pleasure for me to be here representing the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association. This is just another great day in the life of Chelmsford High School. As Al mentioned, new science facilities, an auditorium, lots of things are going on here, all for the positive. In all my years as an educator, I always believed, and still do, that the library was the heart of an educational institution. So, Many years ago, as we were planning the construction of this school, a strange event occurred. The building committee, the architect, and I all agreed, without any objections, that this was the kind of space we needed for this school. That was a little different. This space is the heart of this school, and the open heart surgery that just took place is obviously a tremendous success. Just look around. Many thanks to Valerie and all of the folks that had a hand in making this happen, and a lot of them are right up here with me. This library is now ready to serve this generation of Chelmsford High School students and many more generations to come. I hope you get a chance to see our Alumni Authors Corner, which is down that way. This is just another measure of what our graduates produce. Thank you for coming, thank you for participating, and congratulations to Valerie and everyone. This is just a beautiful facility. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, George. Our next speaker is our superintendent, Dr. Donald Yeoman, currently serving his second year here with the Chelmsford Public School Systems. Dr. Yeoman.
In my 39-year career as an educator, I built or remodeled 11 different schools. And the library is always the key portion of that school when we start to dream a vision. My grandmother used to say, lots of people work hard in America, but only a handful have vision. Valerie and her friends have vision. And so today, Valerie and Cynthia, would you come up for just a moment, please? Cynthia, on behalf of the Chelmsford Public Schools, we honor and salute you for your creativity, your expertise in helping design our beautiful new Chelmsford High School library. The students and staff will now enjoy the beauty and peace of a great learning environment for many years to come. Your dedication to your students and our staff is once again recognized and celebrated. You are a champion for children. Congratulations. And Valerie, for your leadership over so many years, improving service and facilities for our students and our staff, your diligent work culminating in a beautiful new CHS library is but one more example of your dedication to our students, our staff, and our town. You are a superb educator and a true champion for children. Thank you.
Well, that was a surprise. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Okay, our next speaker today is Angelo Taranto. Angelo is a former dean of Chelmsford High School, and he currently serves as vice chairman of our school committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I welcome everyone. You know, if we keep making these improvements to this great scale that we have here, I might have to come out of retirement and come back. Is there room for me out? Thank you. The Chelmsford School Committee expresses our thanks to the residents of Chelmsford through the capital budget money, allowing for this project to become a reality. Special thanks to Al Thomas and Valerie Diggs and the staff for all the planning and work to make this project a success as we see it today. I believe this library, along with the other improvements made, help to maintain the quality high school that Chelmsford High is today. And that's our goal, is to keep it at that high quality. The improvements reflect the ambitions of our students and all of our staff. By improving our library space, the programming, the service collections, and technology at our library will keep this goal to provide and maintain a quality high school. Valerie and her staff have built a team across the departmental lines, the academic divisions, in order for our library to be the focal point of Chelmsford High, which is the library which is the key player in the academic success for our students and our school. And we thank you all for all your hard work and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. We are honored this afternoon by having Massachusetts State Senator Susan Fargo with us. Senator Fargo represents the 3rd Middlesex District, which includes Chelmsford, and I'd like to introduce you now to Senator Fargo. Thank you.
Valerie and all of you, thank you so much for inviting me to this happy event. I have a special feeling in my heart for libraries, and what you've done here, this project of vision and love and professionalism, is really a wonderful thing, and I will brag about it in my other communities. I was thinking about this because I was struck with the term learning commons. It's a very rich term and has lots of layers of meanings to it. Part of it you're seeing embodied as the students and the staff and the faculty use this space. But being a public official on the political side of things, I hearken back to our founding fathers and the founding communities and our colonies in which the commons played a very important role, increasingly political as we move towards establishing ourselves as a separate country. The founding fathers felt that education was critical in a democracy because you had to have an informed and educated citizenry if they were going to govern themselves. And I think that this term just evokes a lot of meanings and feelings for me. But I've been going to libraries since I was very, very young. My parents took me to story hours. And as soon as I could learn to read, I began to take books out from our local library, and one of the books I found one day was called How to Be a Witch in 10 Easy Lessons. Now, if you're about 5 years old, and your division between fantasy and reality is a little sloppy, I really felt that if I read that book, I would learn to fly and turn invisible when I got into trouble. It was one of the profoundest disappointments of my life. So I went into politics. Anyway, enough of my life story, bizarre though it may be. I'm very pleased to be able to present to you, and Valerie, would you care to step up here? To the town, an official citation from the State Senate. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Chelmsford High School in recognition of Chelmsford High School Library's open house today and to celebrate the newly renovated Learning Commons. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends best wishes for continued success. That this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. And it is signed by Terry Murray, the first woman president of the Senate. Had to get that in. And attested to by William Welch, the Clerk of the Senate, and offered by me today. Here's to the Senator.
Thank you. Another surprise. Thank you so much. This will certainly be placed in a very prominent place in our school.
I'll be back to check.
Okay. We welcome you. I hope you do. Okay. I'd now like to introduce to you Paul Cohen, our town manager.
From Valerie saying, "Oh, I'd like to meet with the high school library director." And for the libraries for the schools. And at the time, I'd been working 17 years as a municipal administration, and I'd never had such a request. So I said, "Okay, well, I'll come over," and it was eye-opening. I'm sure many of you in this room today remember the condition of the library prior to this renovation. There was duct tape on the floor, there were different carpet patterns, there were these vibrant colors, I guess the vibrant is and Valerie sat down with me over in the corner, and she really sat down and explained the concerns that she had and the vision that she had. And really that is the reason in terms of that sort of brought this to my attention. And I was able to have the ability to then bring it forward to our capital planning committee, of which some of the members are in attendance today, such as Maggie Marshall and some others. And then, as I mentioned earlier, to bring this to town meeting. The other thing that struck me was shortly thereafter, the town was in the process of conducting interviews for the new superintendent of schools. And then I remember at the time asking someone, well, these interviews, where are they taking place? Wouldn't they take place in the high school library? And the comment I got back was, no, we don't want to show the new superintendent the candidates. Yeah, we want to. So I imagine maybe they showed them the Parker School Library or the work that had been done at McCarthy and so forth. And really, this was one of the essential components that needed to be invested in the community. And as you heard earlier today, the investment has been going forward in the community in terms of the science labs, the Performing Arts Center, this project, and then recently, if some of you may have been to the building, we recently completed the exterior stairwells to the facility, as well as a upgrade to security of the building as well, which was again done by another committee. And I can honestly tell you that none of this would have been made possible and had been done on time and with the quality that you had without the efforts of Gary Persichetti, our facilities director. I really can't speak well enough about the tremendous work that Gary has done and has served this community in terms of the projects that I've mentioned and what's in the future. And I can be pleased to tell you that as recently as this morning, Gary Persichetti and Bob Cruikshank, our school business manager, were before the same capital planning committee with the request to continue the improvements here. And I think what you'll see, hopefully starting this summer, will be the additional improvements to the main entrance of the high school. And so we can hopefully get rid of that hideous orange color as you come into the front entrance, as well as the stains that are on the front of the building and so forth. Because as was said this morning, this is the heart of the school facility, and this high school is the flagship of our community. And so I really want to commend Valerie for the efforts that she's made for this facility today, and I pledge to you on behalf of the community our ongoing support to maintain the tradition and quality that we have here in the community. As was said earlier by Senator Fargo, the library is the heart of our community. It is an essential part of our democracy and of our system. And not only is it for the students that come here, but it really sets the path, because as many of those move on to higher education, as we all know who've been through that, one of the places where they're going to be spending an awful lot of time in developing themselves as students and citizens is in the libraries and academic centers of our community. So again, on behalf of the town, I want to thank Valerie and thank all of you for your support to make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. And now I would like to introduce the chairman of the Board of Selectmen here in Chelmsford, Philip Eliopoulos. Philip?
Thank you very much. I just want to first say how proud I am to be here, not only as a member of the Board of Selectmen, but also as a graduate of Chelmsford High School. I graduated in 1987 and spent many a time in this library. It did not look like it does today. It's just an amazing feat that you have spearheaded, Valerie, and I want to thank you and your committee for making this project come to fruition. It culminates a lot of improvements that we've made to this structure. I'm joined today by fellow selectmen Claire Janot, Pat Wojcik is here. I don't see the other members of my board, but I know that all of us recognize the importance of the educational system in Chelmsford. I credit all of my future successes in life to the education that I received here in Chelmsford and the education specifically at Chelmsford High School. And I know that all of us in this room today have a desire to see that educational excellence continue for the children. We all have that same goal in mind, is to educate our children, and we all have that obligation as well as to maintain the excellence of our schools. So with my colleagues, we will continue to do that, and I want to thank all of you in that room, in this room, that help us to achieve that goal. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Phil. And now I'm both honored and in awe of the fact that we have many experts and dignitaries in the field of school libraries here with us today. And I'd like to point out a few of these people today. I would like to acknowledge Carol Gordon is here. Carol, after a lengthy career in school libraries and in higher education in Massachusetts, Carol is now at Rutgers University as an associate professor, working with Ross Todd, our main one of our speakers, and she is the Associate Director of CISL, or the Center for International Scholarship in School Libraries. Carol Gordon. Connie Champlain is here with us this afternoon. Connie has been active in Wisconsin and with the American Association of School Librarians, and she has recently co-authored Raise a Reader at Any Age, a Librarians and Teachers Toolkit for Working with Parents. Connie is right there. Also with us for this event is David Lurcher. David comes to us from San Jose State University, where he is a professor in the School of Library and Information Science. David has worked tirelessly to advance school librarianship as an author, researcher, and lecturer. He is the founder of Treasure Mountain, the school library research think tank. David is a prolific author, and his most recent book is The New Learning Commons, Where Learners Win. David? I also want to point everyone out to Dr. Carolyn Markison, who is here with us today as one of our library consultants from Bibliotech. I mentioned her in my speech a little bit earlier, but Carolyn really was quite instrumental in taking my vision and turning it into reality here with the design of this space, and Carolyn is with us here today as well. Okay, and our final speaker of the evening will be Dr. Ross Todd, who's with us here today. Ross came to the United States from his position as head of the Library and Information Program at the University of Technology in Sydney, Australia. He is currently at Rutgers University, where he was instrumental in the founding of CISL, standing for Center for International Scholarship in School Libraries, and he has done significant research on the connection between student achievement and school libraries, among many, many other things. And it's a great, great honor that we have Ross here with us this evening, and I will turn it over to you. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. It's just an incredible joy as a scholar, as a researcher, and indeed as a former classroom teacher and school librarian in Australia, to be just part of this triumphant day here in Chelmsford. And first of all, it really is a deeply moving experience for me. I want to thank first of all the school leaders, from the superintendent down the school community, the public community that support this school, for your vision and insight, the financial commitment, the energy, and the realization of this truly magnificent space. It is just so deeply gratifying to see an educational community not only value but materialize such a beautiful learning space, and I want to deeply commend each of you who've been part of that decision making. What you have here is truly a lighthouse accomplishment for schools in Massachusetts. You have a lighthouse accomplishment for school libraries in Massachusetts, indeed across the US, and indeed in the work that I do internationally around the world. What you've done is transformed a school library into a learning commons that traverses both the print and the physical information worlds, and one that will provide, I believe, unlimited opportunities for your students to have the best learning possible in this rich and diverse and complex information age that they're growing up in. You know, as I walked into this facility this afternoon, not having seen it for the first time, as I came into that door, the first thing that I saw was the sign above the information desk, and it said think. That's the first thing that you see when you come in here, and I think what a wonderful testament to the vision and the goal and the opportunity that is in this facility. As I looked around, I saw the sign above us. We set sail on this new sea because there is knowledge to be gained. And as I looked around, I saw the word ask, a challenge for students and faculty to engage in the complex business of inquiry through the endless information opportunities that are here for them. I saw the alumni authors area. What a fabulous initiative as the kids come rushing in here to do their work. They see before them students who, like themselves, have gone out and become creators and producers and contributors to the knowledge agenda of this country. And I think that's an outstanding reminder for each person who comes in here. This is the gift of this particular facility. Ask, think, create. The authors. This focus on knowledge. I look around at the signs and I see the word create. And this, in essence, is what this facility is about. And I hope that every student and every teacher here will capture the depth of what that means, because what we've gone beyond in this facility is not merely an information collection. We've gone beyond the provision and the transmission of information to create an environment where the development of deep knowledge and deep understanding is at the heart of this facility. Because everything around me speaks that this is about the creation and the production of meaning and understanding. And that's the greatest gift any school can give to its children. That, to me, in this information world where people are drowning in information, the greatest gift is the gift of knowledge, and the gift to create knowledge and understanding for themselves. I just love also the restaurant booths. It's a wonderful statement that this is a place of food for thought. I look forward to coming back, Valerie, and actually even getting a double espresso here. What we see in this beautiful facility is I think, an embodiment of what is happening in the dramatic information landscape in which our children are growing up. We know that there are phenomenal changes in the digital and print information landscape. We've seen the development of amazing information technologies that are not just part of the dissemination of information, but we're currently in a wave of technological development which we call Web 2.0, which is providing creative intellectual spaces for the collaborative production of knowledge, the generation of content. And I want and encourage each one of you who are part of this school to keep that light alive, that this is an intellectual space, not a space of just mere physical objects that we might call books and magazines, but it is a centre for the production of and the development of deep knowledge and deep understanding. What I love as I've walked around very intensely looking at this beautiful facility today, I see the media-rich environment. The technological environment is an immediate and important part of children's intellectual information to knowledge journey. And what it provides in this centre is access to an enormous range of tools that will enable children to engage in that whole business of knowledge production. I read an article very recently in the journal Educational Leadership. It was the educational commentator Mark Prensky. He wrote an article called Turning on the Lights. He's deeply concerned about the way education is going, and particularly in the media-rich, technology-driven and device-oriented world of our children. I too live with an iPod a lot of the time as I travel. It's actually got a name, it's called the iTod. But he went on to say, he's deeply concerned that in this technological and device-oriented world, it's about, his concern was powering down in school. Powering down not just the devices, but their brains. He says, it's their after-school education, not their school education, that's preparing our kids for their 21st century lives. And they know it. When kids come to school, they leave behind the intellectual light of their everyday lives and walk into the darkness of their old-fashioned classrooms. What we have here is not just a physical facility, but an intellectual facility where the lights come on. It's a place for lighting the intellectual fires. It's a place for powering up the devices. It's a place for experimenting with the world of ideas, for engaging in the vast, complex array of information and engaging with some of the exciting and often experimental tools that are there for kids to create representations of their knowledge. And I think what you've touched on today is the heart of the future of education for our country. Our schools have to turn on the lights and prepare kids for the everyday world that they're growing up into. And what I sense here is that everyday world has actually become part of this school. And for me, that's a really exciting moment. You know, there's been 50 years of research now that speak of the value of school libraries and their role in student achievement. It deeply distresses me as a teacher, as a former school librarian, as an educator and as a researcher looking at how do we create dynamic, exciting school libraries that contribute to learning. It deeply distresses me often that educational decisions are made at school and district, regional and state and often national levels that completely ignore the dynamic of school libraries in student learning. And I think this is part of the lighthouse that you have in this community. You have vision, you've had financial courage, you've had such extraordinary leadership in the work of Valerie and her team and the whole school. And I want you to celebrate this such exciting achievement. There's some challenges ahead. As somebody who has invested his whole life in school libraries, it feels, with my wonderful colleagues, David and Carol, who are great sources of intellectual inspiration for me. You know, our vision is that this school, this learning commons, will be a place of great intellectual discontent. We want it to be a safe environment where students can engage with the diverse and complex and conflicting ideas. We want them to experience in this place the diversity of ideas and the sheer intellectual discontent that is here. But that comes with equipping these students with the critical thinking and the communication and the knowledge creation competencies. We want them to ask questions. We want them to use this facility to develop arguments, to construct their viewpoints and their positions. We want them to deal with conflicting ideas. We want them to know how to deal with even unwanted information. And out of that, we want our students to be able to construct their deep understanding and knowledge for themselves. And that comes with a commitment of each classroom teacher, each educational leader in this school, to ensure that students have the raft of intellectual competencies and the technical competencies to be thinkers and problem solvers and to be creators of knowledge, because that is the future of this school, it's the future of this country, and it's the future of the lives of these children. You've given such a beautiful gift, not to the town, not to the school, but to every student here. Because after all, our students and the information to knowledge journey that they walk is the bottom line. They are tomorrow, and you've made it happen today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ross. Appreciate that, all those wonderful comments. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate all of your support, your help, every single person here today. I'm looking around the audience saying I could thank each and every one of you individually, but of course we'd be here forever. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate all this wonderful support.